Of course, Griselda's back. Let's just go straight there now. Griselda, I know you've got the mayor there with you. Just tell us what's happening today, and if you can kind of set the scene. What's the mood like?
Well, yeah, but of course this marks the 24th anniversary since struggle stalwart Chris Hani was assassinated outside his Dawn Park home in Boksburg. And certainly today would be a day to commemorate this great man, and President Jacob Zuma is expected to lead a wreath-laying ceremony here together with the Ekurhuleni municipality as well to commemorate Chris Hani 24 years later. And I think in particular what we'll certainly be watching for at this point is recall, of course, that Chris Hani was once the General Secretary of the South African Communist Party. We know that they will also be giving a commemorative speech here today together with President Jacob Zuma, and I think certainly something to watch at this point is whether there will be visible tensions, I guess, between the two, given that the South African Communist Party has been sort of in the forefront on calling for President Jacob Zuma to resign, of course, in the wake of that cabinet reshuffle. Let's chat now to the Ekurhuleni Executive Mayor, Mzwandile Masina. Mr. Masina, thank you very much for your time this morning. Certainly a very important day on South Africa's calendar to remember one of those who were in the forefront of fighting for South Africa's liberation.
Yes, this is a very important day for the people of South Africa, even more so for the people of Ekurhuleni. You will recall that at some point Comrade Chris Hani once remarked that it is important that in South Africa, as long as the economy is still dominated by the unelected few people, it will be important to know that a case for socialism exists. So for us, we gain knowledge from a man like Chris Hani, and we think that occasions like today must be utilized to deepen the issue or the debate around radical socio-economic transformation.
Executive Mayor, we know that President Jacob Zuma will be here today leading the wreath-laying ceremony as well. The South African Communist Party will also give a commemorative speech. You know, South Africa is going through its own challenges at the moment, and so is the African National Congress. With regard to the SACP calling on President Jacob Zuma to resign, you know, how do you foresee a day like today perhaps trying to remind those in government as well as the African National Congress about how perhaps these divisions need to be simmered?
Well, Chris Hani is known as a unifier in the movement broadly. The ANC and its allies have always undergone different challenges. You will remember the Chris Hani memorandum moment, but the manner in which the leader always conducted himself, he always respected internal democratic engagement in the organization. And I hope that as we honor this giant leader of our people, all of us will draw from his strength of being a unifier in the movement broadly. We are not here as government to prescribe who must say what to who, but it is important that if we honor a leader like Chris Hani, at least you must be able to demonstrate his values and that which he stood for, because he was a man of peace, even though he was involved in the armed struggle, but he stood to ensure that he united the people of South Africa. Just recently, before he was gunned down, he spoke so passionately about how angry he was during the time when the leadership took a decision to disband Umkhonto weSizwe, but because he believed in democratic centralism, he was able to accept the decision to the point of going on the ground to explain the decision of the leadership. And we are not, as I was saying, going to prescribe to the leaders what they must say here, but we have done whatever possible as government to make sure that the event is dignified. It resembled the leader that Chris Hani was.
Exactly on that point, you know, I don't want to bring in events perhaps that have happened over the past few days, but certainly I have to there, Mr. Masina. With regard to, we saw yesterday at the memorial of the late struggle stalwart Ahmed Kathrada, we saw how that deteriorated into chaos. We know what the SACP sentiment is towards President Jacob Zuma. So, you know, some might say others would perhaps use this occasion to further reiterate what their stance is regarding the direction that South Africa is taking and the events that we've seen unfold in the country over the past couple of days.
Look, President Zuma is a democratically elected president of the country, and there's only one way you replace government. It is through a ballot. For now, until 2019, there is president of the country, and we have gone through a very painful election process in 2014, and I think that the SACP and any other people who are advocating for the president to vacate the office, they know that reality. As I said, that whatever they say here, it is the stance of the party they represent. We as government, we are not going to say the SACP can't speak here or what it must say, because we can never be prescriptive to the SACP. I will also have an opportunity to speak on behalf of the government. If there's certain things that we must say strongly, we will be able to say so, but I don't expect anything that mirror what happened in Durban here. The people of Ekurhuleni are very peaceful. We respect the leadership, we respect the different views, and we think that all of us must be here, at least exchange ideas, because it is important that we don't have to be physical. We must exchange ideas, whether we agree or we disagree. But primarily, there is a president of the country. That is why he's invited. He's not invited here as a president of the ANC, as an example. If the ANC is here through the SG, Comrade Gwede Mantashe, he will speak as well on behalf of the African National Congress. So we are ready. It's all systems go, and we think that we are waiting for our leaders to come and address us. And whatever issues they raise, we should be able to digest them. And as citizens, will be the judge as to what really is this whole thing that is going on in South Africa about.
Mr. Masina, just before we wrap up, I'm afraid we don't have much time. But do you think 24 years on that Chris Hani would be happy with the state of the ANC currently and the state of the country, given that he was in the forefront of fighting for these ideals, which some say have been eroded?
Well, no one is happy with the state of the ANC, and we have in our respective spaces as different leaders of the ANC raised the concern that we elected the leadership united. We want to appeal to them that they must unite and ensure that at least we go to conference, because the ANC was not meant for the current generation. It was meant for many, many generations to come, because if we are not careful, you will have 5 million white South Africans ruling 42 million black South Africans, which will be completely abnormal. And I think that we want to appeal to the leadership of the ANC, the leadership of the party, COSAT, and all the alliance to say that let's go beyond just an individual and look at the country and what the people expect from us as the African National Congress-led government. Here in this city, for instance, we are leading through coalition. Our behavior will determine how citizens give us or not give us the mandate to continue to lead. So it will be very risky to gamble with the future of young South Africans just because of our own differences. These things have happened over time in successive generations. We think that the ANC can and its allies can still pull through without really showing the public that public differences. They can go to the boardroom, engage, and find a solution that will be suitable for all the party concerns. As government, we are happy that everyone is here. We are providing the first ever platform for these leaders to publicly engage, and we'll be watching as to the conduct and so on.
Right, thank you very much for your time. We've run out of time there. The Ekurhuleni Executive Mayor Mzwandile Masina saying that they're providing a platform here for everyone, despite the differences that we've seen in the country over the past couple of days, over the past couple of weeks as well, saying that they're not going to restrict anyone from saying what they want to say on this platform. But certainly but I think what we'll be really watching very closely, as I did indicate, is how President Jacob Zuma and the SACP, as they come together on this platform to commemorate Chris Hani, how, if there'll be visible tensions at all between the two of them, and exactly how, when they commemorate Chris Hani, they would speak about the ideals that he fought for, and whether certainly, 24 years after he was gunned down, whether he would be happy with the state of the African National Congress as well as the state of the country. All of that expected to come under the spotlight. I mean, just get out of the shot very quickly there. You'll see this is where the wreath-laying ceremony will take place. We're expecting President Jacob Zuma to lay that wreath there at about 10 o'clock this morning. We'll bring all of that live to you here on SABC DSTV channel 404.
Thank you very much, Griselda Lewis, coming to you live from Boksburg. We'll be back live a little bit later, of course, when that wreath-laying ceremony gets underway. It's in flux. It should happen sometime around 11 o'clock. We'll be live there. Of course, Kendall, we asked that question and people are tweeting us. Yep. How do you remember Chris Hani? A revolutionary leader is what Lechasa Batlamoy says. He says, a revolutionary leader.
Ayatanazo says, newsroom. Chris represents bravery and sacrifices. He became revolutionary. He stayed true to the course, epitomizes greatness with humility.
This one from Jacob Hani. It's a committed and dedicated leader. I hope anti-Zoomers won't distort the essence of this commemoration, says Jacob. Well, those are the tweets coming in. Of course, our theme today, well, we're looking back at one of